Dreams without goals remain just dreams and ultimately fuel disappointment. On the You must believe that your dreams are possible. A fall forward. Don't be afraid to fail. This idea is simple, yet deeply profound. Most people are conditioned to see failure as something shameful, something to avoid. We're taught to aim for perfection, to walk the safe path, to stick to what we know, and stay in our comfort zones. But the truth is, no one who ever achieved anything meaningful did so without first facing failure. Failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the evidence that you tried, that you stepped out, that you had the courage to put yourself in motion. Denzel Washington calls this falling forward. And when he says it, he means that even when you stumble, even when things don't go your way, you're still moving. You're still growing. When you fall forward, you land closer to your goal than where you started. You may hit the ground, but you fall with momentum. That momentum builds character. It humbles you, sharpens you, and reveals what you're made of. In his own words, Denzel said, "If you don't fail, you're not even trying." Those words sting a little because they expose something many of us try to hide: the fear of looking foolish, of being judged, of not being enough. But what if that fear was the very thing keeping you from your next level? What if every great opportunity was just beyond your comfort zone? What if failure is not a wall, but a doorway? The people we admire the most, the ones who stand at the top of their field, whether in sports, business, the arts, or leadership, they have all failed more times than most people have even tried. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he built. And Denzel himself, he was rejected countless times early in his acting career. But the difference is, they all kept going. They didn't let failure define them. They used it. They fell forward. It takes courage to fail. It takes courage to risk your pride, your time, your effort on something that might not work out. But that's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Playing it safe might protect your ego for a while, but it won't build your legacy. The path to success is paved with setbacks, rejection, and loss. But each fall brings wisdom. Each failure, if you let it, becomes fuel. There's a deeper truth here, too, and it's that failure teaches you more about yourself than success ever could. When things go wrong, you learn what you're made of. You learn how bad you want it. You learn to be resilient, to be resourceful, to adapt. You discover your blind spots. You grow humility. You develop a hunger. Failure can become your greatest teacher if you're willing to be its student. This mindset shift from fearing failure to embracing it is the key to unlocking your full potential. Because when you remove fear from the equation, you become dangerous in the best way. You stop holding back. You go after that dream job. You start that business. You speak up. You try. And in trying, you grow. You expand. You create possibilities where there were none before. So, how do you fall forward? You take action. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You silence the voices that say, "What if I fail?" and replace them with, "What if I succeed?" You move even when you're scared, especially when you're scared, because courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. When Denzel speaks about this, it's not just a motivational quote. It's a philosophy for life. It's a challenge. It's an invitation to anyone who's ever doubted themselves to stop standing still and start moving forward, even if they fall, especially if they fall. So remember, don't fear failure. Embrace it. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it strengthen you. Let it teach you how to fly. And when you fall, because you will make sure you fall forward, because your dream is possible, but only if you try. Dreams without goals are just dreams. That's one of the most powerful truths Denzel Washington has ever shared, and it cuts deep, because so many of us are out here dreaming big, imagining the life we want, thinking about success, wealth, fame, or fulfillment. But without a clear direction, without structure, those dreams fade. They don't turn into reality. They turn into frustration. You can have the most beautiful dream in the world, but if you don't attach it to actionable steps, timelines, discipline, and accountability, it's going nowhere. It's just floating in your head, waiting to die quietly. Denzel isn't just telling you to dream. He's telling you to do something with your dream. That's the difference between people who wish and people who work. Dreamers who set goals become doors. And doors, over time, change their lives. Without goals, you have no target. And when you have no target, you're just shooting arrows into the dark, hoping they hit something. That's how most people live. They say, I want to be successful, but they never define what success means for them. They say, I want to be rich, but they don't set a single goal to build wealth. They say, I want to be great, but they never study their craft, never train, never prepare. They think the dream will carry them, but the truth is the dream doesn't carry you. Goals do. And here's the raw part. Goals are not always exciting. Dreams are. Dreams are romantic. Dreams are glamorous. But goals can be boring. Goals are waking up early when no one's watching. Goals are sticking to your routine, even when you don't feel like it. Goals are sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. Goals are saying no to distractions, staying disciplined, doing the same things every day that push you just 1 inch closer to that dream. And that's the difference between those who admire success and those who live it. The ones who win are not just dreamers. They are planners, strategists, workers. They grind with purpose. They don't just visualize the top of the mountain. They start climbing step by step. Denzel said it best, dreams without goals ultimately fuel disappointment. And he's right. Because without a system in place, without clear milestones and checkpoints, your dream becomes a source of stress instead of strength. It starts to feel unreachable. You begin to doubt yourself. You start to think maybe you weren't good enough. Maybe you didn't deserve it. When the truth is, the dream was real, but the work wasn't. The vision was clear, but the path was missing. So you need to ask yourself, what is the goal that supports this dream? What is the timeline? What are the daily habits that will take me there? What am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to commit to? Not just when I'm motivated, but when I'm tired, when I'm bored, when it gets hard. This is what separates average from exceptional. Anyone can dream. Most people do, but few take it further. Few map out their journey. Few stay the course. Few develop the consistency it takes to bring a vision to life. But if you want to live your dream, not just talk about it, not just think about it, then you need to build the foundation with goals. Write them down. Break them into small pieces. Celebrate the little wins. Learn from the setbacks. And above all, stay committed. no matter how long it takes. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't respond to daydreams. It responds to direction. It responds to effort. And every single dream you have inside of you is valid. But it will only come to life if you give it structure. Don't just say, I want to be somebody. Define exactly what that means. Don't just say, I want to succeed. Outline what success looks like, feels like, smells like, then put it on paper, then put it into action. Day after day, you can dream big. You should dream big. But if you want to see it happen, tie those dreams to goals, because dreams give you the fire, but goals keep the flame alive, and together, they're unstoppable. You have greatness within you. That's not just a motivational phrase. That's a truth, a deep, unshakable reality that too many people forget in the noise of the world. You were not born to be average. You were not designed to live a life of quiet desperation. You are gifted, you are chosen, and whether you realize it or not, you carry something unique inside you, something the world has never seen before and will never see again unless you release it. Denzel Washington has often said, your gift will make room for you. That means what's inside you, your talent, your voice, your perspective, your passion, has the power to open doors no one else can walk through but you. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will support your dream. But that doesn't mean it isn't possible. Greatness isn't measured by applause, likes, or followers. Greatness is measured by impact, by the difference you make, by the lives you touch, and by the courage you show when the world says no. But you keep saying, go. You've got to recognize your gift before anyone else does. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for permission. And don't compare your journey to someone else's. Your dream might take longer. Your path might look different. But that's because your purpose is uniquely yours. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the original version of you. Undeniable. You've already got what it takes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. Committed to growing, to learning, to failing forward, to rising again. And when you feel like you're not enough, when doubt creeps in and you question everything, you remind yourself, there's greatness within me. It may be quiet. It may be hidden, but it's there. And I'm going to fight for it. Every single day, people often believe greatness is for them, for the lucky, the famous, the chosen few. But that's a lie. Greatness is not about status. It's not about background or privilege or perfect timing. Greatness is about courage. The courage to begin when no one believes. The courage to keep going when no one claps. The courage to stay true when it's easier to quit. Denzel didn't wake up successful. He worked, he failed, he doubted, but he kept believing. He kept showing up because he knew the gift inside him was greater than the fear around him. And so is yours. So when life gets hard, when the setbacks come, and they remember, it's not the end, it's a test of your belief in yourself, a test of your resilience, a test of whether you're willing to stand in your greatness, even when it's uncomfortable. You're not here by accident. You weren't born just to survive. You were born to shine, to lead, to love, to build, to create. And yes, to struggle, because that struggle is what forges strength. That pain is what grows purpose. That resistance is what reveals your power. There's a fire in you that cannot be extinguished unless you give up And I promise you, no matter how tired, how broken, how uncertain you feel, that fire is still burning. It's waiting for you to believe again, to dream again, to rise again. The world needs your voice, your dream, your story. There's someone out there who's waiting for you to step into your greatness so they can find the courage to step into theirs. Don't rob the world of your gift because you're afraid. Don't bury your potential because others can't see it. You're not defined by your past. You're not limited by your mistakes. You are who you decide to be right now. And if you choose to believe, not just in the dream, but in yourself, then nothing can stop you. Not failure, not fear, not doubt, because greatness lives in you. Always has, always will. Now it's time for you to claim it. Putting God first in everything you do is not just a statement. It's a mindset, a way of life, a compass that keeps you grounded in the chaos of dreams, ambition, and worldly pressure. Denzel Washington has always emphasized that his success didn't just come from hard work or talent alone. It came from placing his trust in God, acknowledging that every gift, every opportunity, every door that opened was a result of divine favor. When you put God first, you begin to understand that your journey is about more than just success or fame. It's about purpose. Denzel often says, put God first in everything you do. Everything that I have is by the grace of God. That's not just a humble thank you. It's a way of recognizing that without a higher power guiding your steps, you can easily lose your direction. Life throws curveballs, disappointments, distractions, and noise. But when God is the foundation, you find peace in the middle of the storm. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting that there's a greater plan in motion, one that you may not see now, but you will understand in time. The world is fast-paced. It's easy to get caught up in the rush, chasing money, recognition, validation. But when you start your day with prayer, with gratitude, with faith, something shifts inside you. You begin to live intentionally. You don't just hustle blindly. You move with clarity. You start aligning your goals with a higher purpose. You stop measuring success by numbers and start measuring it by impact. That shift is what keeps you from burning out. That's what helps you sleep peacefully at night, knowing you're not just working hard, but working in purpose. Putting God first doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, Denzel speaks openly about his own struggles. The times when things didn't go his way, when he failed, when he was uncertain. But even in those moments, he remained rooted in faith. That's the difference between someone who merely chases dreams and someone who walks in purpose. When faith is your foundation, failure doesn't break you. It refines you. It prepares you. It shapes your character. Sometimes what you think is a setback is actually a setup for something far greater than you imagine. And let's be honest, there are moments in life when everything looks like it's falling apart. You question yourself, your dreams, your worth. That's when putting God first becomes more than just words. It becomes survival. It's in those quiet, painful moments where prayer becomes your weapon, your therapy, your guide. When you don't know which way to turn, God becomes the voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Faith doesn't remove the storm. It teaches you how to walk through it with strength, with grace, with dignity. Denzel's example reminds us that real success isn't about applause, awards, or headlines. Real success is walking in alignment with your calling, It's waking up every day knowing that you're being used for something bigger than yourself, that your talents aren't random, that your pain isn't wasted, that your journey has meaning, and that meaning is found when you surrender control and let God lead. Putting God first also means staying humble. No matter how far you go, how high you climb, how loud the praise gets, you remember where it all came from. You stay grounded. You treat people with kindness. You don't look down on others. You give back. You stay teachable because you know, just like God gave it, He can take it away. That humility is what keeps your heart clean. That's what keeps your soul intact in a world that often tries to corrupt it. So when you wake up tomorrow and chase your dream, put God first. Not after success. Not once you're comfortable. Put Him first before anything happens. Pray before you plan. Listen before you speak. Be still before you run. That quiet time with God is where your true strength is built. That's where the courage comes from. That's where your vision becomes clear. And when you move with that kind of spiritual alignment, there is no door you cannot walk through, no obstacle you cannot rise above, no dream too big for God to handle. Your dreams are possible, but only when your foundation is unshakable. And that foundation starts with faith. Don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. That's the heartbeat of Denzel Washington's message. It's more than just a catchphrase. It's a call to live with purpose, with meaning, with impact. Too often, people get trapped in the routine of life, working to survive, chasing a paycheck, doing what's expected just to get by. And while there's dignity in hard work, there's a higher calling that many ignore, the calling to contribute something greater than yourself to the world. Denzel urges us to think beyond comfort. He challenges us to go past the idea of just having a good job, a steady income, or a retirement plan. Those things matter, sure, but they are not all there is. What legacy are you building? Who are you helping? Who are you inspiring? What are you leaving behind when your name is just a memory? Every individual has the potential to create a ripple effect that outlives their time on this earth. Your words, your actions, your sacrifices, they all leave a mark. So if you're grinding every day, if you're gritting in the hours, make sure it's not just for a title or a paycheck. Make sure it's aligned with something bigger than yourself. When Denzel says, aspire to make a difference, he's speaking from experience. His success wasn't handed to him. He had to fight for it, fall down, and get back up. But what gives his career meaning is not the fame, not the awards. It's the way he has inspired millions around the world to think differently about their potential. That's impact. That's influence. That's purpose. Making a difference doesn't mean you have to be a celebrity or start a global movement or donate millions of dollars. It can start with one act of kindness, one word of encouragement, one step of courage that others can witness. Maybe it's mentoring a young person who's lost their way. Maybe it's using your talents to help your community grow. Maybe it's simply choosing to live with integrity in a world that often rewards shortcuts. Whatever it is, making a difference is not about scale, it's about intention. When you wake up each day, ask yourself, how can I be useful today? Not just busy, useful. Can you lift someone's spirit? Can you create something that adds value? Because at the end of your life, people won't remember your car, your house, or your bank balance. They'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the lessons you passed on. They'll remember whether you were someone who stood for something or just drifted through life. Denzel's message isn't to shame people who are working hard just to survive. In fact, he deeply respects those who hustle and grind for their families. But he invites all of us to go one step further, to turn survival into significance, to turn hustle into hope for someone else. Because once you start seeing life as an opportunity to serve rather than just to succeed, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your mindset shifts. You stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? And the beautiful irony is this: the more you give, the more you receive. Not always in money, but in fulfillment and peace, in respect, in purpose. The people who make the biggest impact are often not the richest, but they are the richest in spirit. They walk into a room and bring light. They leave people better than they found them. That's what making a difference looks like. So don't settle. Don't shrink your life down to a routine of existing just to get by. Use your gifts. Speak life. Live boldly. Aspire to rise, but bring others with you as you climb. Aspire to win, but win with heart. Aspire to grow, but grow in service to something greater than yourself. That's the real success. That's a life well lived. And that's what Denzel means when he says, don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference.